Good morning, good afternoon, maybe good night, friendos. It is Leading Off. I'm the Welsh, that's Casey Bubba, and we're brought to you by PrizePicks. Use that promo code Leading Off today. Get locked in, get hooked up, and play some PrizePicks because we are going to be prize picking today. Oh, dear friendos, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are winning your playoff matchups. I am continuously every night looking at the scores, updating, trying to see where I can get an edge. Maybe we can help you today. A little bit less news at the top that we're going to do, or just headlining type of things in replacement of maybe helping you guys pick up some players. I've got some category chasing. So I picked a player that is readily available across the board. If you're trying to pick up some hitting categories, we're going to be talking about some streamers for the weekend streaming. I've got some options we can dig through, answer your questions. We got some bets. We got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We don't have a Corbin Carroll and I destination today. I was going to say my creativity, but not to break the fourth wall, Bubba. But we didn't travel anywhere. But I am wearing the Corbin Carroll shirt, the Fun Friday shirt. This is the official Corbin Carroll shirt, if everybody wants to know. Like, see here, look. This was us at the Grand Canyon. And see, it's the same shirt. So it is the there we go. There's the fun shirt. I know.
It's like Kokomo Friday. Oh, wrong show. Sorry.
You gotta love it. How we doing, brother?
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's Friday, ready to get into the weekend. Baseball still cranking out, but it's just been some weird stuff on the diamond lately if you're playing fantasy. So buckle up for the last 2 weeks is all I can say.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you should be relatively prepared for that. I think I kind of forget. I do this every year. I forget how wild the last couple weeks are from a betting perspective, like trying to get in on like prop bets. I didn't have a good day on Wednesday. The bets are weird. The games are weird. The playing time is odd. Everything is a very strange time of year. And it also creates Bogman and I did this on ITL where he wanted to do his whole like, we should end by September 1st type of thing. And it's like, maybe it's justified.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's almost
maybe.
Maybe we wouldn't be doing this if that's the case.
Very good point. Yeah, he's trying to take jobs away from good, hardworking fantasy people.
Come on, Bogman.
Which is ridiculous. But I don't know. I think it also kind of comes back to like the crybaby nature of some of the stuff where it's like, I can only play roto, blah, blah, blah. Like I like variance. It does stink and it hurts sometimes, but I enjoy variance across the board. So that's what we're going to be talking about. You and I are not this, but you can easily find out how at least half of the fantasy baseball Twitter space is. But Chaim Bloom fired from the Boston Red Sox, and everybody's got to take because they're all Red Sox fans, not you and I. We're West Coast guys, one of the few West Coast guys, but you just forget how many Red Sox fans are out there because everybody is like this is just like a simple firing and everyone's like, take machine. But I hate his name, so I'm glad he's gone because I look at his name and I want to say a shame. I want to be super like dumb, but I don't know. Did you have any thoughts that 1,200 other analysts haven't already said on Twitter?
You know, it's actually pretty funny the way you said that because I mentioned it on the first pitch last night. I'm sitting there going, I had no idea he was such a polarizing figure until the firing took place. Like you said, like it seemed like 80% almost was like from the rooftops. Thank God it finally happened. There's 20% going, oh, he was just doing his job. That's what they hired him to do. And, now they're throwing him out. They're blaming him for what they told him to do, blah, blah. I think it's funny. I don't care either way. The Red Sox, they're going to Red Sox. They're either going to spend money or they're going to keep doing what they're doing. I don't think it's going to matter who's in that seat. But I thought it was funny to see all the reactions, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So this one time, Gentile of me. Well, it's just the name. The name is frustrating. I look at it. I think I literally said it earlier in the year. I was like, Chain. And they're like, no, hi. I'm like, oh, okay,
I call him Chain every time I see it. Chain, not even M. It's like I don't even.
It's just it's a very jolting. But I like have a dumb brain sometimes, so it doesn't matter.
We all do. That's why we.
This one time, a long time ago, Bogman and I were asked to come on this radio show. It was this New York radio show. And we went on and they didn't really give us a prep, but this was like, I want to say this was like a basketball time or something like that. And we went on and it was like the first question out the gates. God, I'm trying to think of who it is. You remember who the Knicks owner was? Someone's going to say it in the chat. Whoever the Knicks owner was.
Was it not Dolan, right?
No, it was Dolan. It was Dolan.
Okay.
I think so. And the first question out was like, so what you think about all this stuff going on with Dolan? And me and Bogman were both like, what? Like, huh? And then and we realized like it was an East Coast bias thing. Like that's the only thing that they live and breathe was like that side, and we had no idea what was going on. This reminded me of the Heim Bloom thing.
100%.
Okay. Like I think the Red Sox screwed it up. They screwed up the Mookie Betts trade without question.
Big time.
It hurts because you're seeing the Orioles compete for a playoff run, the Yankees still kind of being the Yankees, the Rays are being better, like everyone's competing so I know it like hurts and stuff, but it just doesn't like mean anything to anybody else. But I know like Red Sox fans are like, we got him, but then you're inundated with it. But it is kind of the biggest news. But
it's pretty funny that like you mentioned that he messed up the Mookie Betts trade, which he did. There's no denying that. But then I saw a tweet the other day, a couple days ago, actually, about the A's and like what they returned for like Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, and one of the other trades. That was worse than the Mookie Betts trade. And no one in Oakland's getting fired because they're just trying to move down. My point is, you're seeing the difference between winning franchises and the A's. And the A's like, whatever, we tried.
Well, you're also seeing East Coast bias. This is this is the newer version of East Coast bias.
But I think if the A's guy got fired, it wouldn't be as crazy because it's the A's, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like would the Angels, if they got rid of their leadership, would this be like 1,200? Maybe, you know what? Actually,
it might be countrywide because of the Ohtani stuff.
Because that's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, would this be bigger? If I'm trying to think, I can't think of who the hell it is. If they fired the Angels management, would it be bigger than the Heim Bloom situation?
It could be.
But I kind of don't think it would be because of the bias, but it should be because they're a disaster and how they can keep going about it. But you know what? Sometime there'd be a fun like mini series to do. MLB's worst trades and go back and look at like the awful trades because you think of like just in the last 10 years, some of the trades that we've seen, it's pretty astonishing. I always like to when a trade is finalized, like over time, like what's coming to mind here is the Diamondbacks have made multiple just horrifically bad trades. And then when the last piece is gone, you'll get the article from that one writer who's like, the last remnants of this. And they'll be like, this was the last remnants of the Goldie trade when Carson Kelly got designated. And it's just, you look back and you're like, bleh. Like they're all just so awful.
Yeah, I won't even ask. But I have a hunch the Swanson trade didn't go so well. No,
that I'm telling you, go back and look. Like I think this year had like the final remnants. One of them, Nick Ahmed, got designated, and everyone was like, "Oh, here's the last Justin Upton trade." And I gotta be honest with you,
Justin Upton trade, man, that was a while ago.
Yeah, and then the Swanson trade because I was with the Braves, and then the Swanson trade was a total disaster. Goldie trade disaster, but who's counting? Yeah. I mean, but you know what? You just turned me into the Red Sox fans. I'm making it about all these bad trades.
Well, the last thing I'll say, then people could probably not care about this anymore, is it's funny. If Giants fans, like yesterday, there was a big debate, should they keep Farhan and Kapler, and management said they're keeping them through next season at least, where all of a sudden, I didn't even realize it, there was a large mob saying they should be fired and replaced because they're not doing a good job. So I was like, wow, I did not see that one coming. So it's every team's what I'm trying to say. It just depends on where your ear lays at night, basically.
Yeah, it's the head hunting. It's just the difference is the headlining article on ESPN is going to be a Red Sox owner and not.
Just wait till Cashman's gone. That's going to be fun.
Oh my god,
that's going to be fun.
They might have. I mean, not that ESPN would have to cover baseball, but if they did, they'd have a special. They'd shut it down and they'd be like, dun dun dun, breaking special. The Cashman era.
It might come on national television if Brian Cashman gets fired. It might be breaking news
that. Might be the thing that gets ESPN to talk about baseball in.
That would be
September.
Amazing during football season. It might make the top 5 things on the website.
Yeah. A couple notes from interesting stuff that happened over the last 24 hours. Kodai Senga dominated the Diamondbacks 6 innings, struck out 10 as the Mets blowing out the Diamondbacks, pushing them back. And Kodai Senga just continues to be good on the back half of the year. He is good. We talked a bunch about what that top 15, 20 SPs are going to be. Boy, Senga is going to be in that conversation and I don't know if he'll be cheap-ish or if he's going to kind of fall into the blobby territory like Scott and White and Sporer like to have used the term blob. Maybe he's going to be in there. I think I'm going to be very invested in Kodai Senga next season.
I love Kodai Senga. In that early draft that we started, the first 7 rounds, again, real draft for those that keep track at home, he did not get drafted. And I was shocked because I had him on my radar, but the way the flow of the draft was, I needed to field some other spots that were drying up quickly. I wanted to take him in round 6. I didn't end up taking him at all. Ryan Bloomfield has the first pick coming back, and we've talked about it multiple times. He's pretty locked in unless something crazy happens. Senga's the first pick around. So
I think so. Like how many pitchers does he have?
I think he has 2. He has 2 starting pitchers.
I mean, Senga is like SP3.
Oh yeah, that's why I have Yuri Perez and Scherzer, and I'm like, I should have just taken Senga, but I had no closers, and closers were almost gone. So I had to take a closer. Like in a draft and hold format where you can't add closers, you need at least something, and that's what dictated it. Otherwise, I had Senga for sure.
Hindsight,
as an SP3, amazing.
Hindsight from a month ago. I think next year I've not worked on my ranks. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna in October. I'm gonna like start my initial rank and stuff.
With you there.
My initial reaction this moment. Senga over Scherzer next.
100%. I'm with you
without question.
So,
but that's what a month
that's
can
fun
change.
about these early drafts. It's like if you win some, you lose some. Like you're gonna get some values in round 15 and 16 or something. You're like, wow, awesome. And there's these other ones. You're like, not good, Bob.
Yeah, you're right. Also, in just like paying off right now, getting back to the we're talking about the Yankees and the Red Sox, but Michael King. 8 strikeouts, 1 run, 4 2/3, not getting the big run, but getting stretched out as a starter.
Yep.
Pay attention to this next year. And I feel pretty confident about Michael King the rest of the way through, whatever those starts are going to look like. I don't know what his schedule is next week. If he pitched yesterday, he's probably only going to have 1 this next week. Do you have that up?
He's got 2 more starts. I'm literally just loading.
Oh, does he? Well, 2 more starts on the end of the year, but not 2 starts next week.
Oh, yeah, 1 start next week. Sorry, my bad.
So
starting next week, the New York Yankees, Michael King, who I do agree with you on this. I thought people should have grabbed him this past week, but the Yankees, he will get versus Toronto, and then his final start. He could get 2 starts the last week at Toronto, at Kansas City potentially. So he could have 3 more starts, 2 Toronto starts and a KC start. Toronto's wishy-washy, a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, it's wishy-washy, but I think the strikeouts are there. He's not, if he could get to 5 or 6, that'd be great. Maybe that's a next year thing.
He will. That's the thing. I was looking at the stretching out part, like you mentioned, the 4 2/3. You'd like to see more, but he got up to 87 pitches. He's gone 61, 69, 79, 87. He's going to be close to 100 now. He's going to get you the win chances.
I also think the pitching market that's available in like most leagues, like you might not great. People, well, yeah, exactly. Someone listening, you might have like awesome pitchers out there, but like I would say like the general leagues that everybody's playing in, there's just not really great pitchers. There's not good 2 starts and stuff that like I would be more into prioritizing. And I did this like on CBS earlier in the week, so you'll know where I'm going. But like, even if a guy is like a, more of a 3 to 4 inning guy, if I can get 1 or 2 of those guys that maybe they jump into a win, or maybe, the stretched out nature of it's in question, I would rather have Michael King or Christopher Sanchez is what the whole conversation was around, than trying to like pigeonhole, unless I'm in a points league. And then instead of trying to pigeonhole just some random starter in there that might, like having to start Brandon Pfaadt today, that's not a great feeling. 100%. That's really not a good feeling. I would rather have a Christopher Sanchez who can go 3 or 4 innings, maybe 2 or 3 times in a week, or even 2 times in a week, get better strikeouts, maybe sneak in a win, then get blown out by, Pfaadt's going to get lit up today. It's just brutal. He's going to get absolutely lit
up. Pepio and King, those are the 2 guys. If they're available for you for the last 2 weeks, I'd go and get them quickly. Pepio's got Tigers and 2 Giants starts, so have fun.
I agree. All right, so category chasing. We're going to answer your questions, so you have a couple more minutes if you are on the live stream. Podcast listeners, come and hang out with us. A couple more shows. We will answer your questions here in just a second, but I put together some category chasing. I use the last 14 days as a little bit of a barometer. Here are some players, and Bubba, if you want to throw in a player, please do. You can also tell me what you think of these 4 categories. I'm not worrying about batting average just because, like, I don't know, it's a bigger crapshoot. But if you're chasing homers, runs, RBI, stolen bases, here are some guys that could be readily available. Number 1. If you're trying to chase homers on the open market, we've talked about him, Nelson Velasquez, 4 homers over the last 2 weeks. That is a home run category chase that I think you can do. Anybody you want to add, Bubba, to the
I absolutely love Velasquez. For some reason, Torque's still available. Like, it's surprising. The one that I'd mentioned actually is Wilmer Flores. He's a little less than what you got with.
I almost put him on.
Flores has been very sneaky good. He actually helps you in almost all 4 categories outside stolen bases.
Yeah, I only added 1, but had I added 2, he would have been number 2 on the list. Runs. How about this? In Detroit, Matt Vierling, 12 runs scored over the last 2 weeks. That is almost a run per day. If you're chasing some runs right now, he is getting some proverbial run with the Tigers. That would be someone I would pick up in the runs department. Over on RBI, this one has been weird, but Robbie Grossman's been hitting 3 in some instances for this team. He has 9 RBI for the Rangers over the last 2 weeks. So that could be another one of those options. And when you're hitting 3, by the way, what's so great about that is you were hitting in behind Marcus Semien and Corey Seager on that team. So that chances. Yeah, that could be a really nice opportunity. And then finally, if you're going for stolen bases, I actually put 2 here. Bryce Terang with Milwaukee. He has 5 stolen bases over the last 2 weeks, as well as Jacob Young with the Nationals. Batting average isn't there, I think, with Young, but he has 4 stolen bases. So if you're chasing stolen bases, those would be where you can open market get. Anybody else you want to add that I didn't bring up as far as any of the 4 category chasers?
Surprisingly, Jack Sawinski's hitting for average right now. He's available in a ton of leagues, and he's got 3 homers and 3 steals over the last 2 weeks. He'd be one to look at. And Tommy Pham, I know we always joke about him, but no one rosters him, and he's still being very, very productive.
If he's available, he's the biggest.
You'd be surprised. Like a lot of 12s, it's like a 50-50 shot in most of the leagues I'm in.
He's an absolute slam if he's available out there. I also wanted to move up just in the prep. I wanted to move up the weekend streamers that we usually talk about, and I put them here. So I put a Saturday. I put 3 starters on Saturday, 3 starters on Sunday. You pick one that you like the best, because these might not all be the best options, but I put together 3 that I thought made the most sense. On Saturday, JP France is going up against the Royals. Tyler McGill is going up against the Reds, and Ranger Suarez is going up against St. Louis. McGill is the only home game there. The other 2 are on the road. So JP France is in Kansas City. Ranger Suarez is in St. Louis. You pick one to stream on Saturday. Which one are you going with?
I think I'm going with McGill, because that Cincinnati offense has hit a complete roadblock. It's been really rough. At least McGill should be able to get you strikeouts. So that's the angle I go to there. Not in Great Americans. Give me McGill.
That's mine too. If you had to rank them, I think I would go McGill, France, and then Ranger Suarez. France not phenomenal.
I go Suarez over France. It's my spot.
Yeah, I'm not super against it. It's just like the Kansas City offense. Maybe attack that a little bit.
I want to mention just one for people to keep an eye on. Oh, he's not pitching this weekend anymore. No, he is. Gibson Long. Nick Pollock turned me on to him. You'd probably know him as a prospect. Sawyer Gibson Long.
Sawyer Gibson Long.
He's going to be pitching Saturday. And I think there is some viability there going up against the Angels offense that is dreadful. And then you get Oakland next week, so he'd be a guy to watch.
Okay. On Sunday, here are your 3. Jordan Wicks at Arizona. Jordan Wicks has been phenomenal, but still Arizona's offense. Arizona's been struggling. Reed Detmers going up against the Tigers. I've been attacking the Tigers. I love Griffin Canning today here on Friday, by the way. Reed Detmers going up against Detroit. Both of those are road games. A home game, Jose Quintana going up against the Reds in New York. So you pick one to stream on Sunday. Who are you going with?
This one's interesting because everyone hates Quintana, but he limits the damage so well, like really, really well. I'm going to go Reed Detmers, though, for the strikeout upside versus Detroit. I'm going to take Detmers. The volatility and run prevention has been there for Detmers, but I'll take Detmers' strikeout upside. But don't just poo-poo Quintana because it's Jose Quintana. He's actually been pretty darn good.
Quintana's my choice. That's my choice.
He's been very good. I will not hate on that at all.
Yeah, I think you can also, like when we did category chasing, you could look at some of these guys and you could say if you're chasing strikeouts, McGill and Detmers of the 6 we've talked about have probably the best upside. Ranger Suarez and Quintana probably have the best potential to go long. And and ratios are in there. But also I would say the biggest upside ratio guy might be Jordan Wicks against the Diamondbacks, because Jordan Wicks has got I think it's like last 30 days, a sub 2 ERA. Yeah, so he's the upside play. But he
the
also
strikeouts disappeared. He struck everybody out in his first start. He strikes out nobody since then. It's like 1 or 2 Ks a game. It's bizarro world.
Primary changeup guy, that can primary changeup guys. I think can kind of come and go. I mean, look at the good Sandy Alcantara. You throw like a 90 mile an hour whatever changeup, but yet his strikeouts wouldn't be dominant. So I think you're a little bit more finicky on strikeouts when that's your primary pitch, and that is Wicks' like primary pitch. So let's go to some listener questions. Mike said, with Mitch Garver possibly being shut down, who should I look as a replacement? I just talked about this on CBS where we're like, we'll cut Sean Murphy for Mitch Garver, and then Garver goes and gets hurt. You got a replacement or two?
Luis Campusano would be one I'd be looking to right away. Bo Naylor has actually picked up the pace quite a bit in Cleveland, and they got a lot of right-handed pitching to face coming up. And then just check your leagues. I know he should be gone, but Logan O'Hoppe still hitting really, really well, and surprising not everybody jumped back in on that right away.
Yeah, if O'Hoppe was out there, he's been a top 10 over the last 2
He's got
weeks.
5
RBI.
homers in the last 2 weeks. He's back.
He's been a freaking monster.
And don't sleep on Jonah Heim. He'll get to play every day again, and he's a couple weeks off from getting back. So maybe you got that going for you.
I just don't know if Jonah Heim is out there, but if he was, sure, I would do that.
Campusano and Bo Naylor would be my 2.
I'm with agreement on that. I mean, I also think like, if Moreno was out there, I might look at Moreno. He might have been cut, good, average and whatnot.
And Patrick Bailey just returned from the concussion IL, gets Coors all weekend, so you got that going for you too.
Yeah, they kicked Joey Bart to the curb.
Yep.
Michael says, what are we doing with Jazz? How about Ellie? I think it's just a general question. I think you can, if you have viable options, you can move on from either one of these guys with a week left or so to go in your playoffs. I don't think you have to hold. You kind of want to, maybe bench, but
maybe wait and see on Jazz's news on Friday because they're going to be playing. So that's the thing with Thursday when not many teams play, you don't get any news. So you got to just be a little more patient, wait for the news to come out by lineup lock and go from there. If you can't wait, then I'm with you, Welsh, but I'd wait a little longer if you could.
Yeah, I agree. Lee said, okay, second round of playoffs are next week. I'm dropping Gavin Williams for Javier Assad and then starting Burns, Ryan, Assad, need 2 more. By the way, I kind of agree with this one. I think Assad, Gavin Williams just been too inconsistent.
And
strikeouts
Gavin
are there.
Gets Texas too.
Yeah, so I think that is a good move. So he needs 2. Skubal at Detroit, Clevenger, who has 2 starts, or Garrett versus the Mets. I'm going to go Clevenger's the easy one with the 2 starts. But I think I might go Garrett. I don't
trust facing the Dodgers. I love Skubal. Skubal's been nothing but amazing, especially over like the last month or so. Like he had a couple hiccups early. He's been awesome. The Dodgers, man. I just avoid Club Dog and Garrett too.
What will be tough is if he goes off today. Skubal's pitching today. So if he has like this great performance
against the Angels, that's going to help him.
Yeah, I think it'd be tough to cut him. Here's what I would say. I think Garrett and Skubal are close enough that Skubal is just the better pitcher with the better strikeout upside than Garrett that I could justify with a really good performance today being like, you know what, let's hold on to Skubal. Let's see where we're at next week. Because Garrett isn't good enough to be like, oh yeah, just drop Skubal because of a bad matchup. Keep Clevenger and then maybe wait on the next move. At least see what happens today.
Yeah. And then because your final week, Garrett gets 2 starts against the Mets and the Pirates.
Bill had said, am I crazy thinking about keeping Gunnar over Vlad next year?
Not crazy at all.
No, it's not crazy.
I would keep Gunnar over Vlad personally.
Yeah, I'm just still banging away at my my dynasty ranks here, so it's not. Speaking of, CJ Abrams or Royce Lewis in a dynasty league.
Royce Lewis.
Ooh, I
love CJ Abrams. I love CJ Abrams. Royce Lewis is a 5K. Well, CJ's showing.
CJ Abrams might steal 50 and has close to 20.
Let's put it this way: is there like a round preference you're holding for these two? Because they're actually a lot closer than I think.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Abrams. Royce has serious medical history, but Royce has been insane. I think they're close. CJ Abrams is so much more of a dominant stolen base guy. It's him. Yeah. But to Bubba's point, if it was like Abrams at a 5 and Royce at a 10, I'd probably keep Royce here. So I think that's
a great question. That's a lot closer. I think people realize at first glance.
Yeah. Whips said Joe Ryan 2 starts next week at Cincinnati and versus the Angels. Too risky to start in weekly league.
No, you do it just because I hate Great American, but the Reds are struggling and you want that Angel start badly.
Yeah, I do it. Should I start Michael King over Sonny Gray?
Let me see.
Probably not. Yeah, I have to see what the matchup is, but my initial is no.
Minnesota next week. Gray's got the Angels. That's going to make it great out the gate. King has got trying to play Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray, easy. Yeah, 100% agree with that. Brian says Sale, Wright, or King. Which 2 to have the next 2 weeks?
Okay, let's.
I would go with King and say I don't need to see what Kyle Wright. I'm just not. I'm not a Kyle Wright guy.
Kyle Wright shouldn't be in the agenda. You are correct there.
Yeah, I'm just not into that.
Yeah.
Finally, Giolito in a points league tonight. Championship match down by 40. You're in a points league. Maybe I think he's going to get blown up because
he's going to get destroyed. You might be down 80 by the time that's done.
Yeah. So I mean,
can you drop him and pick someone else up today?
Yes, that's a good point because he's probably not a negative, but like if
he's not much of a positive either.
If someone else were out there, yeah, I would not. By the way, I would try to.
Can you find a long shot chance of a save somewhere? I don't know.
No thanks. All right, Thank you. Good questions. Thank you, guys. Hopefully that'll help you out going into the weekend. Injuries. Mitch Garver, as we mentioned, he left with left foot soreness. That could be bad. On the good side, the Rangers are saying that there's some optimism that Josh Young will return for the Monday series against the Red Sox. So maybe he got dumped in some league. He might be back on Monday. Brewers, Craig Counsell told reporters that he expects Christian Yelich to return here Friday for the Friday series against the Nationals. So that's good. And the Orioles manager Brandon Hyde told reporters that Ryan Mountcastle is not an injured list candidate, which is frustrating to me. MRI came back clean on the left shoulder. That might be a little bit of a death blow for Heston Kjerstad. He didn't start yesterday. He pinch hit. They had what's his name? O'Hearn at first base. Mountcastle comes back soon. That's going to kind of dink it out a little bit. So Kjerstad might not be the best option right now moving forward. 3 up and 3 down. Up, Rafael Devers, 4 for 6 with a homer. Corey Seager, 3 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBI. And how about Josiah Gray? It's kicking myself. I was asked this on CBS. I almost said Josiah Gray. I didn't. He went 6 1/3, struck out 10 yesterday. What a great start that was. On the down, Merle Kelly falling apart. Oh, it's too hot in Arizona. What he keeps saying. 5 innings, gave up 7 earned runs, just got blasted. Kevin Gossman, 4 2/3, gave up 4, walked 6. And Anthony Santander, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Those are some big old downs. And the continued vibe of high-end starting pitchers screwing you over. Gossman and Merle's not a high-end starting pitcher, but like, this is brutal. Like what Gossman did, that destroyed your ratios. It destroyed your whip, hurt your earned runs. That was a really, really brutal blow. But, them's the playoffs, right, Bubba?
Yes, they are. Them the breaks, as they say. So, yep, there you go.
The breaks. Let's go and check out PrizePicks. Promo code leading off. It is PrizePicks time. You can go and make a deposit. $100 match, because it's a 100% match, up to $100. So you get a free $100 back to you. You can start creating some prize pick lineups today and make some monies. How are you going to prize pick today?
How am I going to prize pick today? We're looking at the Wilmer Flores over half a run scored in Coors. I'll take that all day. Royce Lewis over 1.5 total bases as he continues to just be a machine at the plate. And then going back to Coors, Mike Yastrzemski over 1.5 total bases. Over the last week, he's played phenomenal. And I think that's going to keep going for sure.
Yeah, I actually thought he's another one of those guys. We did this on ITL yesterday, but I had mentioned he might be one of the pickups to look at. I picked him up in a league where DJ Stewart keeps going in and out of lineup. So I picked up Yastrzemski. He's been really, really good. So that might be a solid one. For me, I've got Justin Steele, fantasy score 31.5. Diamondbacks can obviously play up, but Steele has been ridiculously phenomenal. Diamondbacks are trending in the wrong direction. So 31.5, especially going up against Brandon Pfaadt, that win is probably going to help just in general, because I think Justin Steele's in line for that. I'm going Corey Seager 8.5 because Noah Syndergaard. So I think he might get this in his first at bat because Noah Syndergaard is trash. So I'm going to go with Corey Seager and Jose Altuve 8. He was a sneaky guy I actually wanted to get a bet in on because of a nice, good BVP versus Zach Greinke. I wanted to get him in a little hit parlay, but they want 2 for Jose Altuve because of his history with Zach Greinke. Speaking of best bets, Bubba, where are you going to play some bets today? I need to get back on track, so let's get going.
Going back to Coors again, JD Davis over 1.5 total bases at plus 120. He's hitting well over 300 over the since September started with a couple home runs. I love what he's doing there. And then I took a couple first fives, mixed it up a bit for you. Cincinnati first 5 minus 120. Hunter Green has been outstanding his last 2 starts. He's not in Great American. Going against Peterson, like my chances there. And then I love Scooble, we kind of talked about earlier. Griffin Canning's awesome too. It should be actually an interesting pitching duel. 2 bad offenses kind of in Anaheim. But give me Detroit first 5 minus 130.
Yeah, I'm about that Griffin Canning. So I got 4 things for you. I've got the Atlanta-Miami first 5, 4.5 over. I always hate saying these because they sound so ridiculous. It's juiced up a bit, but you know what? When I have a bad week like I did Wednesday, I want to get back to the basics. I'm betting for 5 runs to be scored through the first 5 against Johnny Cueto and on the Braves, and then Bryce Elder is on the docket. So I feel good about that one. You could play it to 5.5 and get much better odds. That's fine. I'd be fine with that. I think there's going to be runs scored. So I like that. Atlanta, Miami, first 5, 4.5. I like the Yankees to be up by a run through the first 5. That's Garrett Cole going up against Oviedo. That is minus 130. I like Scooble today on the strikeouts, 5.5 over. It's juiced up at -140. But the Angels, they have struck out the third most over the last 3 games. They just strike out a bunch. And Scooble has like 7+ strikeouts and like 6 straight starts. So I'm in on Scooble. And then finally, just to get the juices flowing a little bit, I did a hit parlay. Judge, Riley, and Tatis all to register just 1 hit. That pays +175. So almost 2-to-1 on your money if you want to get a little hit. I like doing those hit parlays sometimes. Those are fun. Though,
I like it.
One screws you. If you want it, I'd also point out, if you just did Judge and Riley, you could just get straight even money. If you just want to bet on both of those guys getting hits, you can do that. So there's no Corbin Carroll today, as I said. Corbin, I'm wearing this shirt in solidarity. I just didn't have
in memory.
I will tell you what I thought about doing today. But I thought I don't know if it would be like inappropriate. I got kicked back one time, by the way, on one of our destinations that I wasn't allowed to do. So now I have it like in the back of my head.
Destination too.
Yeah, I got it in the back of my head for a little bit. But I was going to do the one of me and Corbin in front of the fake alien, the Mexico press conference of we found the 1,000-year-old alien.
That would have been amazing.
Would that have been good?
That would have been amazing.
I thought I might have got kicked back
You're
about
staying current.
Well, I told you, I'm trying to stay current. It would have been like us. And there's actually a really funny picture that had like the 2 fake little coffins, and we would have been standing in front of them. It might have been too morbid. I don't know. I don't know if I would have gotten kicked back or not. So I decided not to.
Better to ask for forgiveness and beg for permission.
Yeah, exactly. DFS. I almost skipped DFS here. Did you do DFS, or was that the bets?
We've only done bets. DFS. We got a 13 game slate on Friday, starting at 7:05 Eastern. There's a lot of pitcher and hitting options here. I'm just name a few. Justin Steele going into Arizona at 10.1K as he continues his NL Cy Young run. Tariq Skubal, talk about him. He's 9K versus the Angels, and Griffin Canny's 8.2K. I like both those guys, like in a big, big way. So mix and match them, play them together. I don't care. So have some fun with that. Stacks, Giants at Chase Anderson and Coors. Houston versus Greinke. Twins versus Schultens. And if you want to get different, KC versus Christian Javier. Twins are super cheap. That's part of the value here. You get Alex Kirilloff at 2.8K versus Schultens. There's other cheapies in Wallner, Willie Castro, and whatnot. Cedane Rafaela, he's been leading off for Boston this last few games. Hitting over 300 since called up. Yeah. A couple home runs of late as well. He's 3.1K versus Barrios. And you got Richie Palacios going up against Aaron Nola. Palacios 2.5K. The Flying Palacioses of St. Louis and Joshua of Pittsburgh have been sneaky good of late. So I like their value as well.
Just turn the Palacioses into like the Graysons, like he's like
Robin. I just
the Flying Graysons, the Flying Palacios.
I'm ready to get them in the Lucha Libre ring.
Did you, by the way, do a nice little tongue roll on the brioche? You're like, buddy, I heard that. Don't think I didn't acknowledge that. So
I got to keep Joey P might not be here, but I'll keep him in spirits.
Okay, I appreciate that. There were a couple other picks. I just do it real quick since we're kind of burning today. Victor said, "Can we trust Bailey Ober at the White Sox tonight?"
I would not.
If I was desperate, I would try not to. But
if your options are Ober and Giolito, trust Ober.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mason said Heim or Ramuto for the final 2 weeks, head-to-head points. I'd actually go Heim, I think.
Yeah, I think that's where you go. It's just tough to give up on. Like, if anybody can get hot, it's him. But yeah, go Heim.
Do you think Sheehan can get it back together in Detroit on Monday? Again, here's why I think it could, but why do I not want to do it? Because it's a Monday to start the week. If you were a 2 week and it was spreading over, maybe, and I needed to just take a shot, I don't want to start my week off bad. So I'm not going to do that one at all. And then the only other one BTF said, should I stream Green today? Hunter Green.
Yes, you should.
So then do it. Home run calls here. Oh, we got the home. I forgot I have the home run board here. I forgot because I got knocked off of it. So who cares?
Conveniently forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. Blue Harvester 58. This would kind of push 60, dude. JJ Tater 54. Razor Ramon 53. Those are the only in the 50s. Still a pretty tight race. Once we get to like the end of next week, if it's a 4 or 5 gap, I think it's going to be pretty tough to try to make that up. You've got Bobby Good, bench warmer, Hoffman, Wonky up at 45, MT Fishero. Those guys got all 45 there, and Mr. Zamboni as well, and BHB Daddy 44. So that's what it takes to make the top 10. I've got 43, so I got knocked off. So I am a loser, big old loser. Who are you going for your home run call today?
Since it's a weekend play, I want 4 games in Coors Field. Give me Chris Bryant, who has returned and shut me up. 2 home runs since his return. He's got 4 hits in 3 games. I'll take Chris Bryant.
Wow. I'm going to do a cheap one. I'm going to go with Matt Olson over the weekend. Just give me Matt Olson today through the rest of the weekend. They got
Write down
Cueto
2
today.
home runs for Welsh and move along.
Just trying to get up a few more homers, trying to get going. That's going to do it. 4 more shows. Make sure you guys are locked in with us, hang out with us. Or I'm sorry, not 4 more shows, 2 more weeks. So 6 more shows. I can't count. Maybe I'm thinking of another show. There's only 4 more shows. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube. Also, you just want to be here for the off season so you don't miss anything. Thank you guys for that. Hang out with us live. You podcasters, keep subscribed as well. Like I said, more with us. So make sure that you enjoy it. I'll try to get Joey P here at one of those as well, right towards the end of the season. We'll be back again next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Prep you for everything that we possibly can. That's Bubba on the Twitters at BDNtrick. I am at Is It The Welsh. We love you all. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace. Get out of here.